Bhavya, when we see this entire episode of the New Zealand cricket team abandoning its tour and going back to New Zealand, in spite of the Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan speaking to the New Zealand Prime Minister, and in spite of all the assurances given by Pakistan, we must understand that this comes with a little bit of history. And the history is that Pakistan has a past of killings, suicide bombings, and heaven forbid, had the New Zealand team been attacked, it would not have been the first team, to be attacked in Pakistan. So Pakistan clearly has a past. Now, the reason is that also, I think the value of life that the Western countries put, even on a single individual, is way too large. Pakistanis were at a loss to understand, kyun chale gaye wapas? Why did they go back? And we would have had such a lovely cricket match, because obviously Pakistanis were looking forward to the cricket match, but the New Zealanders felt that, life is more important than a cricket match, and understandably so. So, you see, it's like me telling you, Bhavya, you have to go to a movie, you have to go to a movie theater to watch a very good movie that you want to see. However, there is a danger of a suicide bombing inside the movie hall, and the suicide bombers will specifically target you. You have been given all possible security equivalent, to a head of state. But at the same time, you know that somebody is coming after you. What would you do? Would you like to go and watch the film? Or would you like to sort of, say that, no, let me avoid it. There is no point in going. Obviously, sports is sports. Sports is not life and death. I can understand if a military leader wants to go into the mouth of the devil. That is understandable. But to deliberately tell people that put your life in danger, foreigners who have come to Pakistan, put your life in danger, and somehow, because the people of Pakistan want to be entertained, this is not something that is okay. And this is not something that anybody should desire to do. The Pakistanis obviously reacted very badly to this because they were wanting to see the match. And this also has a history. People and, top cricket playing nations do not wish to come to Pakistan. No one would like to play cricket in Pakistan because the entire idea is to play and then go back home, right? And Pakistan cannot give the surety that a team will go back home alive or safe or in one piece. So therein lies the problem, you see, and the New Zealand team went back. In spite of the best assurances, they went back. They took a decision. They had intelligence saying that they would be targeted, and they went back. Indian conspiracy is the reaction to everything that happens in Pakistan. All right? If the Pakistani dollar hits 170, it's an Indian conspiracy. The Indians are behind it. If the price of wheat, sugar and oil or ghee goes up, it is the Indians. If the water is scarce in Pakistan, it is the Indians who are behind it. Whatever happens, if the PSL is not doing so well, or whatever they call the Premier League or whatever, the IPL knockoff that they have in Pakistan, I don't know what it's called. And if that's not successful, so maybe the Indians made a few phone calls, and the Indians told the people that if you play in the Pakistani Premier League, we will not allow you to play in the IPL, or words to that effect, or thoughts to that effect. So everything that happens in Pakistan is somehow an Indian conspiracy. And the reason, Bhavya, is why it is an Indian conspiracy is that, when you don't have facts with you, when you don't have logic with you, how do you explain to a population that has been brought up on poison against India? It's very easy. So you don't have to explain. Here is a population. I'm talking about the people of Pakistan, and a large number of them absolutely innocent and good people, but they have been brought up in a certain environment, a certain mindset. And to tell those people that, listen, forget about facts, keep facts in suspended animation, that there is no requirement for you to ask for proof. Just understand that this is a conspiracy, You're not getting water at your home, it's an Indian conspiracy, right? You have electricity failure, no electricity in your house for 16 hours, this is an Indian conspiracy. The Indians are behind this. Unemployment, the Indians. Price of pulses and rice in your country are going up 230%, the Indians are at it. So once you say that it's an Indian conspiracy, it becomes very easy. So the way they described it to their people is, the BCCI, the Board of Cricket Control in India, is the richest cricket body. And obviously, the Indians don't like the Pakistanis. So obviously, Hence, it is reasonable to assume that the Indians, specifically the Indian Intelligence Agency, the Research and Analysis Wing, RAW, made certain phone calls to MI6, who made certain phone calls to Mossad, who made certain phone calls to the CIA. I'm not joking. This is actually what happened. This is what the media was discussing. So, somehow India fabricated this entire story just to embarrass Pakistan in front of the world. Pakistanis don't realize that we do not have to make an effort to embarrass Pakistan. The Prime Minister of Pakistan is doing a very good job. The Finance Minister of Pakistan is doing a very good job. The External Affairs Minister of Pakistan is doing a very good job. They are the people who are embarrassing Pakistan. They don't require India or RAW or the Indian government to do it. I'm not saying we are not happy doing it, but they don't need us, actually. They're doing a pretty good job. Now, what happened was when they received the threat, I'd like to show our viewers this letter. If you see this letter, and this letter is from the Rawalpindi police. Rawalpindi is near Islamabad, 18 to 22 kilometers near Islamabad, and that is where the GHQ is, the general headquarters of the Pakistani army. It's called GHQ Rawalpindi. That is where they wanted, in Rawalpindi to have that match and all that. So, essentially the team came, and then the team said that no, there is a threat. And before blaming the Indians, they should have realized that it is their own police. And this is a letter which a Pakistani journalist actually put up on social media. And this letter clearly says that the Pakistani police, the Rawalpindi police, says there is a threat to the New Zealand team. It's written in the letter. You see, the Pakistanis themselves say there is a threat. And when the New Zealanders come to know about the same threat, then the Pakistanis blame the Indians. What have the Indians got to do with it? And what do the Israelis have to do? For heaven's sake, the Israelis don't even play cricket. Neither do the Americans. I mean, they're not interested. But so many conspiracy theories. Because we helped the Afghan Taliban, therefore they wanted to embarrass us. Because Imran Khan is such a fantastic leader and he stood up to America and did not give them bases. Therefore, they wanted. So everything is connected geopolitically. And unfortunately, the Pakistani people, born and bred in various eras of propaganda, whether it's Ayub Khan, whether it's Yahya Khan, whether it's Ziaul Haq, whether it's Parvez Musharraf and now Imran Khan, all these leaders have always believed in the power of propaganda. Our viewers will realize the power of Pakistani propaganda. ये लोग कहते हैं ना, भारत की साजिश है, भारत ने न्यूजीलैंड की टीम को भगा दिया, भारत हमें दुनिया के सामने शर्मसार करना चाहता था, ये करना चाहता नहीं. This is a newspaper clipping of 15th of December 1971. Now you all know that on 16th of December, Pakistanis surrendered. Right? That's clear. 16th of December, 24 hours before, Dawn newspaper, which is the top newspaper of Pakistan, was promising victory 24 hours before the Pakistani forces surrendered at Dhaka on 16th of December 1971. 15th of December 1971, they were saying war until victory, blah, blah, blah. This is the power of propaganda where an entire population, crores of people, right, they have been fed by their media to live in an opium-fueled stupor, so to say. They're always in that mode that, yeah, there is a conspiracy from the Jews, there is a conspiracy from the Hindus. Everything is a grand conspiracy against us. Because somehow, we are at the center of the earth. Somehow, we are the most blessed of people. Somehow, we have everything. We don't know what we have, but somehow we have everything. And India is jealous, and America is jealous, and everybody is jealous of us. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi has no work. Joe Biden has no work. Right? And the Israeli Prime Minister has no work. The Australians nobody has any work. Boris Johnson is absolutely free. All these people do is get on a video conference every morning and conspire against Pakistan. And there are many Pakistanis who actually get up and think like this every single day. There is this huge global conspiracy against Pakistan. Right? And this is the problem. The inability of the Pakistanis to look inside, jisko Hindi mein kehte hain na, garibaan mein jana, to look within, to self-analyze, to self-critique and say that, okay, no, maybe we are wrong. Maybe this time it's not the Indians or the Israelis or the Martians or Elvis Presley. Maybe it's just us. Maybe. Let's give it a thought, Why not give it a shot? No, they're not like that. So, conspiracy theorists are not an exception in Pakistan, they will know. The Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan is a Pakistani terror outfit. It is a terrorist outfit based in Pakistan. Alright? Now for many years, the Pakistanis have been saying, the Pakistani government has been saying that the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan is funded by India. You see? The Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan is funded by India. India funds the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan. You see? India funds the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan. India gives them money to carry out attacks inside Pakistan. This is the Pakistani mindset, the Pakistani propaganda now. And where do they do it from? They do it from Afghanistan. Okay, the TTP does it from Afghanistan, and so many other terrorist outfits do it from Afghanistan against the Pakistani state. Now, after 15th of August, there are no Indians there. There are no Indian consulates. There is no Indian embassy. There are no Indians in Afghanistan. And yet, there have been more than 20 attacks in the past 1 month on Pakistani security forces. So many people have been killed. Why are these attacks happening? Because Pakistanis have this habit of lying to themselves. They do not understand that the Afghan Taliban and the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan are two sides of the same coin. Which is why, when the Afghan Taliban took over Afghanistan, the first people that they freed from prison were the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan terrorists. Now, what is happening is that Shah Mahmood Qureshi, the foreign minister of Pakistan, or the external affairs minister of Pakistan, Shah Mahmood Qureshi, in a bizarre turn of events, I don't know why he should talk like this, or why any foreign minister should make a public statement like this. Foreign ministers, they're diplomats. They're supposed to be more measured in their speech, than maybe some other minister. But then we're talking about Pakistan, right? The normal rules of engagement don't apply in Pakistan. So this guy goes on a platform and says, if the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan accepts the constitution of Pakistan and if they lay down their arms, then we will forgive them. हम उनको माफ कर देंगे. This is what Shah Mahmood Qureshi says to Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, which is a terror outfit. And the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan responds by saying that if you accept Sharia in Pakistan, we will forgive you. This is pure comedy. First of all, the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan did not ask for clemency, did not ask for forgiveness. Shah Mahmood Qureshi should have served Pakistan better by simply keeping his mouth shut. He didn't do that because he doesn't know how to. Nobody in Pakistan. They're all loose cannons. Imran Khan, Sheikh Rashid, their interior minister, the home minister, everybody's a loose cannon, all right? Everybody is perennially going and addressing the media and saying something and then getting caught on the wrong foot. However, this is what Shah Mahmood Qureshi said, and the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan responded by saying that we want to, have Sharia here. And the biggest supporters of the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan in Pakistan are people at the Lal Masjid or the Red Mosque, which is inside Islamabad. You remember those images of when the Taliban had taken over Kabul, and we said that there is a mosque inside Pakistan on which there was a Taliban flag, and the girls were singing in praise of Taliban, saying that we welcome you and Mubarak ho aapko and all that. Some nonsense they were singing in praise of Taliban. That was Lal Masjid, okay? In 2007, there was a standoff in the Lal Masjid area, and in that standoff, many Pakistani army people died. One Pakistani, I think Major or Lieutenant Colonel also died, and Special Services Group people died, and Rangers, Pakistan Army, Pakistan Rangers, Pak Rangers, Punjab Police, or Islamabad Police, or whichever police is there. They died, and a lot of people got killed here because of the Lal Masjid standoff. Because this guy, Abdul Aziz, and we'd like our viewers to see this video, please.
फोन करो काल घर में लाखों बदकारी के अड्डे हैं, वहाँ आप लोग क्यों नहीं जाते? क्या मैं तुम्हें क्या जवाब दोगे? ये बच्चियाँ नजर आती हैं आप लोगों को? इस नौकरियों से नौकरी छोड़ो इसको, अल्लाह और अच्छी नौकरियाँ देगा. इस नौकरियों पर तो लानत भेजो इसको. यहाँ तो मैं आपको ये बच्चियाँ नजर आती हैं. ये तो तालिबान आएंगे, पाकिस्तान के तालिबान भी आपका हशर कर देंगे इंशाल्लाह. हाथ तो लगाओगा.
So if you see this video, and this is a very recent video too, in which Abdul Aziz, right? Abdul Aziz says that he's warning and threatening the Pakistani police that first give up your jobs. He's saying lanat hai, in the sense that what you're doing is contemptible. I treat it with contempt. And he says जब Pakistani Taliban आएंगे तो तुम्हारा हशर करेंगे, in the sense that, you know, they will sort of sort you out nice and proper. This is what this guy is saying inside Islamabad. So he's the head of the Red Mosque, the Lal Masjid. This is something that Pakistan needs to understand, that Pakistan does not need the Americans or the Indians or the Australians or the New Zealand people to conspire against them. They have people inside Pakistan who are doing it. And these people are not just... you see, I think it was rather presumptuous of Shah Mahmood Qureshi to tell Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan that we will forgive you. They don't want Shah Mahmood Qureshi's forgiveness. They want his country. There is a difference. Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan wants the entire Pakistan. And why do they want that? Because they feel that the Constitution of Pakistan is written by human beings. And sovereignty belongs to Allah alone. Khud Mukhtari sirf Allah ki hai. They want the Quran to be the Constitution of Pakistan. And they want to tear up the Constitution and throw it in the dustbin. And they want the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan flag. On the Parliament of Pakistan, they have made that threat very recently. Right? So Pakistan can spin all the lies at once that India is funding it, Israel is funding it. Israel does not care about Pakistan. We of course care because our neighbor hai. You think Israel cares about Pakistan? Israel produces more PhDs in 1 year than Pakistan produces in 15-20 years. Right? Israel is a first world country. Why would Israel care about Pakistan? Alright? Most of the Israelis won't know where Pakistan is on the map, and they won't care. So, this is an inflated sense of self-importance. And as I told you, they think that the world revolves around Pakistan. It doesn't. Nobody cares about it. But the fact of the matter is, this is an existential threat that Pakistan is facing, and they refuse. It's like an ostrich burying his head in the sand and assuming that because I cannot see the lion, therefore the lion cannot see me. That is the logic by which Pakistan works. The Lal Masjid thing, no, this Abdul Aziz character, he was responsible for the bloodbath, okay? In 2007, I think, if I'm not wrong, that standoff which I mentioned in your previous question. I'd like our viewers to see another video of the same person, Abdul Aziz.
कुरान तो खुद कहता है तो तुम टेररिस्ट बनो। अभी हमने सिर्फ झंडे लहराए अपने जामे हफ्सा पर, जिनको यहाँ उनके झंडा पसंद नहीं तो वो उनके निजाम को कैसे पसंद करें? ईरान में तागूत, सारा तागूत बैठा है। अच्छा। पाकिस्तान में तागूती निजाम।
Now viewers have seen this video in which he says that the Quran, right? The Quran says that do terrorism. This is the head of the Lal Masjid. And he's saying that terrorism is good and Quran says do terrorism. Now, to the best of my knowledge, I have not read the Quran. But to the best of my knowledge, no holy book will say do terrorism. No, nobody will say that in his right mind. Nobody will say do terrorism. But can you imagine the thousands of people who follow this cleric? They will believe it. They will believe it. That the Quran says, you know, कि ऐसा गलत काम करना है, ये सब करना है. They will believe it. Because that is what he's saying. And they mislead people and cause death of young people. So this is what is happening. You see, the Lal Masjid thing and this Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, all these terror organizations, they are within Pakistan. Now let Pakistan say that India is funding the Lal Masjid. Let them say India is funding the Lal Masjid people also. Right? If India is funding the Lal Masjid is in Islamabad, why don't you arrest those people? Who stopped you from arresting them if India is funding them? Because here he is, publicly saying that the Pakistani Taliban will come. Who are the Pakistani Taliban? The Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, which Pakistan says India is funding, by the way. Alright? So they should just arrest the people, but they will not dare touch him. Because they know that if they touch Abdul Aziz, there will be rivers of blood in Pakistan, unfortunately. That is how radicalized their society is. And this is what is going to happen in Pakistan. the Pakistanis were very joyous, if I may say. We have reached Kabul and all that. We have reached Kabul. We have shown the Indians and we have shown the Americans. Unfortunately, even amongst their senior armed forces officers, 3-star and 4-star generals, I think that Pakistani thinking is largely tactical. It is not strategic. They think this entire world is a big T20 match. You go hit out or get out. They don't understand it's a series of test matches. There is strategy. There is patience. They don't have patience. Audacity, yes. Speed, yes. Planning, no. Foresight, no. Strategic acumen, 0. So, they celebrated. And it's a month now since the fall of Kabul, month and few days. And the structure of the Taliban is coming apart. We've all heard about the fight between the Haqqanis and Mullah brother. That is number one. We all know that the ISI chief went there. Alright? We all know how the European Union, the Iranis, and the Americans have called out Pakistan and said that you're interfering in the Panjshir Valley. The European Union resolution actually said that Pakistan sent special forces and aircraft in support of Taliban. Pakistan perhaps does not realize that there are two things that are happening here. Number one, Pakistan's biggest asset has always been its geostrategic location. And no doubt that geostrategic location is very important. Geostrategically, Pakistan is amongst the few most important nations in the world. Why? Why? Because it has a border with Afghanistan, it provides a gateway to Central Asia, and it has ports, seaports, at least 2 functional seaports. But Iran does the same exactly. Iran also has a border with Afghanistan. Iran also provides a path to Central Asia. Iran also has seaports. And over and above, Iran has something that Pakistan will never have. The entire country is floating in oil and gas. Iran is actually a very, very, very rich country. It is just that they don't get along with the Americans, and there is a lot of distrust between the Americans and the Israelis and the Iranians. And the Iranians have not held their own cause by saying, death to Jews and all that nonsense which the Iranians keep on saying. If the Iranians behave themselves, if they stop threatening Israel, right? And if they make friends with everybody, nobody's interested in coming and capturing Iran or something like that, or taking over Iran. Nobody's interested. They can have a wonderful existence. They can have a peaceful existence. Also the nuclear program, by the way. And today the world is looking at it very seriously. The world is sick and tired of Pakistan. The world does not want to engage with Pakistan. Even the drone strikes that recently happened, they might have used Pakistan airspace, but they did not use Pakistani airfields. Now, if America is able to conduct over-the-horizon strikes in Afghanistan without having its bases in Pakistan, what use, for God's sake, is Pakistan to the world? Because Pakistan did not develop any other capability. Pakistan has no capability, all right, except for a limited military capability. And the fact that it is geostrategically important, Pakistan has no economy. Its economy subsists on loans. It runs on loans, right? Very soon, they will not have money to pay their salaries if they don't get loans. Pakistan is in the FAT of grey list. And forget about the FAT of grey list for once. Forget about it. Forget the fact that Pakistan does economic terrorism, funding of terrorism, black money, etc. Forget about that for a minute. In 75 years, Pakistan has not been able to develop its pharmaceutical industry. It has not been able to develop its economy. It has not been able to develop, and it's a largely rural economy, it's not been able to develop its farming. It has no IT, almost. It has nothing. Because somewhere in the mind of the Pakistani strategic thinkers was the fact that because we are so geostrategically important, somebody will always fund us. Somebody will always give the money. And today Pakistan is not able to come to terms with the fact that, maybe that someone has pulled back. Today, the Americans have withdrawn from Afghanistan. Just think about it. And I would like to show the map of Afghanistan with Pakistan and other countries, Iran and Tajikistan, the Wakhan corridor. If you can have the map here. If you've seen this map, and if you stare at this map will give you the answers. Pakistan's importance, geostrategic importance, is because of Afghanistan and Central Asia. Right? Is because of Afghanistan and Central Asia. Tomorrow, if the Chinese say that they want to use the Wakhan corridor, use Afghanistan, and via Iran access the sea, because the Wakhan corridor is much more comfortable than coming all the way from the Karakoram. It's much more comfortable. It's easier. It's lower in altitude. It's better connected. Right? Then where does Pakistan figure? If the Chinese want to go into Afghanistan, they don't need to come through Pakistan. They can use the Wakhan corridor and directly go into Afghanistan. So slowly and slowly, the world is waking up to the fact there is an alternate reality that you can actually engage with Iran. And in the future, this is going to be very important. Keep engaging with Iran. Keep talking to Iran. Over a period of 5, 7, 10 years, keep talking to Iran. Make Iran comfortable. Use Iran to access Afghanistan and Central Asia. That's it. India has built the Chabahar port. When are you going to use it? Use it. But you can only use it with the permission of Iran. So take the permission of Iran. How does it matter? And use the Chabahar port. Build a railway line right to the border with Afghanistan. And if you want to engage with the Taliban, engage with the Taliban. Whoever is the government at that time, engage with that government. It doesn't matter whether it's Taliban or non-Taliban. How does it matter? Afghanistan has mineral wealth. That is what people want to tap into. And also, strategically very important. So people want a footprint there. They want a foothold there. And today people have found out a way to circumvent Pakistan. It is still in its nascent stages. So I'm not saying it has been done. But I think give 5 or 7 years, it will be done. And Pakistan will lose that biggest, that leverage it had with the world, the geostrategic importance, because suddenly the world's turned around to Pakistan and saying, boss, you're not required.
Do you want to stay ahead of geostrategic affairs, foreign affairs, and national security? If you do, don't forget to subscribe to the Republic channel. Like, share, and don't forget to press the bell icon.